There is a Balakheri, a really good-looking son at theatrical, and he's also showed that he's got quite a lot of ability. He's impressively won a handicap at Newmarket in April by 3 lengths in Gold Point, and then he was 2 lengths third behind Moon Ballad in the Dante Stakes at York. Now, the Dante Stakes is always regarded as a Derby trial. He ran a good race that day. I think the 1.5 is really going to suit him today. As you can see there, he's put together really well, a lovely big chest, strong forearms, and lovely hind at quarters. You'd have a job to fault him, Ray.
Yeah, he's a grand looking horse, typical one of the Aga Khans, lovely looking horse.
He's taken down really slow. Let's have another look at Balakheri, and he's running over 1.5 miles for the first time. Ray shouldn't have any trouble of getting that distance, should he?
No, this fellow will get the trip well. He's bred to get the trip. Johnny knows him well too. One thing he did at York, he just took his time getting there. But the further up the straight they went, the more progress he was making. The track and the trip will suit him well. He's going to run a nice race.
Going to the post in the hands of John Murtagh, and John Murtagh, no stranger to these colours, the colours of His Highness, the Aga Khan. Probably has one of the best privately owned studs in the world. Today he has a very good book of brood mares, and also some of his colts, or quite a lot of his colts, turn into really top-class stallions. Good individual. He's going down a little bit keen in the hands of John Murtagh.
Yeah, he is a little bit keen, but he was a little keen when he won his first start at Newmarket. He was never off the bridle till Johnny actually let him go. So that's maybe just the way the nature of the horse is.
Head on. Balakheri with John Murtagh in the saddle, and in fact John Murtagh is carrying 2 pounds overweight on this horse, from 8.8 to 8.10, and well, as you pointed out, John just come back from a bit of a holiday, I think, given by Lure the Stewards.
Yeah, well, he had a suspension for a week after the Derby, so it is hard work when you're trying to maintain a minimum weight all the time, and then you're not riding. It's very, very hard work. I mean, I've done it myself, I know what it's like. But Johnny, I've seen him here Tuesday, and he was sweating like anything just to make 8 stone 12, so I knew that the rest of the week was going to be a lot of pressure for him. He does the best he can, because he's a very big fella.
I think John Murtagh's well worth 2 pounds in the saddle as well. What a lovely horse he is.
Set and racing. Diaghilev's missed it by 5-6 lengths there, just stayed in the stalls when the gates opened. And down near the inside, one of the first away is Sparkling Water, right up there with Balakheri and Balakheri taking close order on the outside in third. First Charter just in 4th position, the gold cap on the outside. Further back then is Kaya-Tur, further back in the field Bustan, and just catching the field now is the slow starting Diaghilev. Running down the side of the course now and towards the 9 furlong marker. And out in front on the inside is Sparkling Water with a pink cap. Shows the way here from Balakheri, who's up on the outside, but just being preceded by Kaya-Tur, and over on the far side in the quartered cap there is Balakheri. In behind them is First Charter as they race down to Swindley Bottom. Bustan is second last and Diaghilev is last. As they race into Swindley Bottom now, they've got just on 7 furlongs to travel in the King Edward VII Stakes, and bowling along Sparkling Water for Richard Quinn out in front, leads by a couple of lengths to Kaya-Tur in second. Balakheri in third on the inside from Balakheri. 3 parts away then back on the inside is at this stage First Charter from Bustan, and Diaghilev at the tail. Starting to pull out of Swindley Bottom now and racing up the side of the course past the 6, and it's Sparkling Water on the inside who shows the way. Balakheri just being niggled along now in behind, followed then by Kaya-Tur. Just in behind them is Balakheri, followed by First Charter. Further back in the field then Bustan and Diaghilev, as they've got 4.5 furlongs left to travel, and the race on in earnest now. Sparkling Water giving plenty on the inside for Richard Quinn, leads 3 parts of a length to Kaya-Tur, moving up now on the outside with Balakheri. 2 lengths away First Charter from Balakheri. A gap then to Bustan and Diaghilev as they race towards the entrance to the home straight. Sparkling Water on the inside of Kaya-Tur and Balakheri being ridden along. First Charter going okay. Followed then by Diaghilev to the outside, and further back Bustan into the home straight now. 2 furlongs left to travel. Kaya-Tur, the first one to strike for home, goes a length and a half in front now of Balakheri. Then First Charter battling on well. Balakheri down the outside, Bustan behind them, followed by Diaghilev. Kyatur starting to fade. Balakheri. Murta's got to run out of him out in the centre of the track. He's grabbed hold of the bit again. Now he's firing. It's Balakheri who's now racing away. And Balakheri goes on to win this quite easily in the end. Balakheri by 4 lengths wins the King Edward. Second, Balakheri. Third there on the outside, First Charter. They're followed then by Kyatur and Bustan, and Diaghilev well back with Sparkling Water. But Balakheri, ridden by Johnny Murta, putting up £2 over, has won this very comfortably indeed in the end, but didn't appear to be responding coming around the turn. But look at that, he's won by 4 lengths. Balakheri, oh, that's tight. Might have just got that in, Balakheri. Might have just got the bob in on the far side by a short head from First Charter in third, but that's a photo. And behind them, it's Bustan on the near side and Kyatur on the far side. Then a long gap to Diaghilev, the slow starter, missed the start by 5 lengths. Just stayed there, motionless in the gates when they opened. So finished well back with Sparkling Water. Let's check them. Second.
Second, number 2.
Balakheri is officially second. Now let's check the pacings. First, number 1, Balakheri, owned by His Highness the Aga Khan, trained by Sir Michael Stout and ridden by Johnny Murta, putting up £2 over at 8.10. And he now goes back into the lead in the London Club's trophy. Second is number 2, Balakheri, owned by Sir Neil Westbrook, trained by Tim Easterby, ridden by Kevin Darley. Third, number 5, First Charter, owned by Saeed Sahel, trained by Sir Michael Stout and ridden by Jamie Spencer. Fourth, number 6, Kyatur. 11-4 favourite, Balakheri, and got the money. Sir Michael Stout training first and third, and Johnny Murta back in the lead for the title.
Balakheri completely reversing the form with Balakheri from York. These 2 furlongs further have really suited him. Bustan over on with Richard Hills in the blue and white striped cap did not get the easiest of passages through, but possibly he didn't really stay on either. Diaghilev very disappointing. Sparkling Water had set a very strong pace, and actually that probably set the race up for Balakheri, who's one of the few who comes through from behind and streaks clear of Balakheri and First Charter, who's run well.
Well, you got Balakheri reversing form with Balakheri on their last run, because they finished, Balakheri was second and Balakheri was third at York, and today they've sort of switched it around. Balakheri obviously is a horse who has improved for his last run at York, and Johnny Murta there, he didn't have to use the stick too much on that fella.
He didn't pick it up at all,
and so this is a horse who possibly will go to Ireland to compete in the Irish Derby, because he's won so well. But the steward's inquiry, I would think, is to do with that incident that was involving Bustan, who obviously got checked in his run, but obviously didn't stay, he didn't recover. The second horse, Balakheri, every chance, just wasn't good enough. And First Charter, a horse trained by Michael Stout, he had the winner, he's had the third as well. His horses are really coming into form now.
Johnny Murta, there he is, back in the winner's enclosure on Balakheri. The £2 over didn't make any difference whatsoever in the end. Well, he was working overtime coming around the turn, but he really does need that extra couple of furlongs. Balakheri, 11-4 favourite, Balakheri at 3-1, and the winner not involved in that steward's inquiry, and First Charter at 25-1. He ran a good race, Balakheri, in the Dante, finishing just behind Balakheri, but the 2 furlongs extra is what he needed. And there he is. He's a nice type. He's by theatrical. He's had his share of winners over the years, and good ones as well. He's a nice type. The Aga Khan with a winner at Royal Ascot, and number 2 for the week for Sir Michael Stout.
The Father's Dream has made all so far and is pressing on in front by 3 lengths to Tech the Lot racing second. Hurrabaroo is the half length back in third. A gap of 5 more to Risk It sitting in 4th position as they take that flight across the bottom end. They're followed through by Bakshi, then Encore and Foin. Vintage Times has made a place. Sambolino's now the back marker. This lead is stretching them though. The Father's Dream as they head down the far side. They're heading off towards the next flight. And up front it continues to be the Father's Dream. In front by 3 lengths. Tech the Lot is travelling nicely in second. A gap of 3 more to Hurrabaroo, who races in third, and these 3 have started to open up. They've gone 15 to 20 clear of jumping in fourth, Risk It. And behind Risk It, sitting back in 5th position, is Bakshi from Encore une fois. But the leaders are pressing on towards the next. Next up is going to be flight number 6. And it's the Father's Dream who continues to show the way. In second, right in the slipstream of this leader, Tech the Lot. And Hurrabaroo's closing again in the cheek pieces in third. They're still 15 clear of Bakshi from Encore une fois. Then Risk It, followed through by Vintage Times and Sambolino. Racing towards the top of the hill then, and the 3 have gone clear. And it's the Father's Dream who continues to show the way. He's made also Farn is still there by 3 lengths to Tech the Lot racing second. A similar margin back to Hurrabaroo racing in third place, and a distance back to the remainder. At the top of the hill and swinging left-handed head back down towards us. The Father's Dream still going great guns up front for Paul Maloney, and he leads now by 5. Tech the Lot's been shaken up by James Reevely in second position to try and get closer to this leader. Hurrabaroo is kept going in third place. They're well clear of Vintage Times, who's now taken fourth from Bakshi, then Encore une fois. Down the hill they come towards the second last flight of hurdles. The Father's Dream has not been asked in front, and he's pinged the second last. Gets away quickly from Tech the Lot in second. Third is Hurrabaroo. They're well clear of Vintage Times in fourth. 1 flight of hurdles to go for the Father's Dream, who's made all. Under Paul Maloney, down towards the final flight of hurdles they go. The Father's Dream jumps it really well and gets away quickly from Tech the Lot in second, followed by Hurrabaroo, takes it third. Vintage Times is staying on in fourth place, but racing inside the final half. The Father's Dream can ease down. He's absolutely bolted up. The Father's Dream wins it really well. Tech the Lot in second, Hurrabaroo for third, and Vintage Times will come home in fourth in front of Bakshi, followed by Encore une fois. Sambolino is next.
That was a taking performance, wasn't it? I fancied the Father's Dream. He's a winning Irish point-to-pointer, and he's never really seen another horse. He's bounced out of the gate by Paul Maloney, and he's gone further and further clear, and there's a good old yardstick in behind, and Take the Lot second for the 4th time in the bounce, and that's the horse that finished a creditable second in a novice handicap hurdle at Southwell last time. Fills the same position under James Reevely. James in the slipstream of the Father's Dream for a long way and seemed to be going well enough, but winding up from the front, Paul Maloney has really pulled clear on the Father's Dream from the top of the hill. The only ride for Paul and the only runner for winning trainer Evan Williams. He wins by 17 lengths. Take the Lot second, Hurrabaroo back in third. Evan Williams and Paul Maloney teaming up for the one and only time tonight, Enzo, and they've a good combined strike rate here in Sedgefield.
I know it get me back for making a reference to the balmy conditions at Sedgefield. Thank you, Gordon. De Faith Stream then returns the 11-8 favourite here, beating Tech the Lot in second at 6-4. Hurrabaroo in third at 9-2, and all 8 round this confirmation of that 17-length victory for the winner of the maiden hurdle.